This video tutorial will be about how to create tables in AutoCAD and how to deploy a table. We will be using this drawing, 2114 drawing, to basically create that table. So if we go back to our drawing, we're going to set up our table. One of the things that this video is predicated on is that you already have two text styles, an arch text style and a mechanical or a mech text style. The arch or architectural text style is using Stylus BT font, and the mech or mechanical text style is using Arial. So to start with, we need to click on the Annotate tab, and we're going to go to the table icon. And right now, the only table style you have is standard. And of course, we're not going to modify and use that standard table style, because anything named standard in AutoCAD should not be used except for as a starting or jumping off place, because anything named standard cannot be borrowed from drawing to drawing. So you don't want to set something up with the name standard and then find out that you can't use it in another drawing, so you have to go through all the work again to recreate that table style. So I'm going to click on Launch the Table Style dialog box, and with the standard highlighted in blue, I'm going to click New. And I'm going to call it Mech Table, and I'm going to click Continue. So right now we have three categories that we need to set up. Our data category, which are the little tiny ones down here, our header, which is the title ones above the data, and our title cell, which is at the very top. We'll start with the data. There are a few things in here that need to be changed because they are not set up to be industry standard. We do not want a fill color. If you do that, you can see everything turns red behind your text. You can, but we don't want to. And we want all of our text to be middle center. Everything else in this tab is perfectly fine. Next tab, we want to select our mech text, and this is not the right height. It should be 0.125. And we're going to override the text color, not to be by layer, but it's going to be yellow no matter what layer the table is on. And the last tab is border. None of this has to be done, but I go through and I check these by layer. Doesn't have to be. I'm going to go back to the General tab. The next one is my header. We're doing in these in the reverse order. We're working from the top up, but it doesn't matter. So in the General, we don't want a color fill. We do want it middle center. Everything else is fine. For text, we want our mech text, and we need it to be 0.1875. For text color, we're going to override and make it yellow no matter what layer the table is on. And our borders don't have to do this, but I do it. And everything else is fine. Go back to the General tab. Last category, title, which is the very top one. We don't want a color fill, though you can, but we don't in this case. We want it to be middle center. Everything else is good. On the text, we want it to be mech text, and this height is good. And we want it to be yellow no matter what layer the table is on. And then border, of course you don't have to do this, but I do. And there we go. So now this table is all set up. It's all ready to go. So I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to click on the mech table. I'm going to go New, use that as the template. I'm going to go Arch Table. Continue. Now, we're going to go through the same thing, but the only thing we have to change is the text style on all of them. That's it. Because everything else is the same. So I'm going through all my different categories, data, header, title, and I'm changing it to be the right text style. So we have now just set up our two text styles. So we're going to be using the arch style table, so we'll just leave that broadcasting. And I need, let's see here, 4 of those. Let's go back and look here. Oh, I have to close out of it. Just a second. Nope, escape. Go back to here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, it says that. And 4. So I'll go back here. I'll go back to my table. 4 and 6. And we're going to leave them at 1.5. I think it defaults to 2.5, but I was in here doing something earlier, and so it stayed at what I changed it to. And row height is fine. And here's the order. It'll be title, then header, then data. And we're going to start from an empty table. So we'll go OK. I'm going to put it wherever. I'll put it down here. And so this drawing is called Door Schedule. Look out of it. Let me go back and look here. We got sim, size, type, quantity. So I'm going to double click in here. Let's go to sim. Door. I can't remember what it really said, but we'll just put whatever for now. So every time I click in a cell, notice, I don't want to do that yet. If I double click, notice I get the multi-line options up here, which is great. It means I can put all kinds of things inside of my cell. I'll click outside of it. If I click it at once, I get the spreadsheet editor because tables inside of AutoCAD are basically spreadsheets. You've heard of Excel spreadsheet. I haven't done the research, but it's possible that AutoCAD just purchased the rights to use Excel spreadsheet, or somebody's in there. They might have created it themselves, but AutoCAD typically buys companies or asks for the rights, pays for the rights to do things. And they buy the company so they can have their technology. For instance, we use our ArtCam at school. Autodesk just bought Delcam in England, which produces ArtCam, and because they wanted to add some things into their Fusion 360, and so they just bought the company, and they're going to throw those things into their own CAD/CAM program. So when you click in there once, you get that spreadsheet cell editing options up here, and so let me hit escape. If I double click, I get the option to put the text in. If I click on it once, I get all my boxes because, for instance, I don't think this one's quite wide enough, so I'm going to widen him out, and I'm going to widen this guy out because the size and the quantity are different. The quantity doesn't have to be very big. The size might have to be somewhat, and then the SYM doesn't have to be very big at all. So let's go back to 2114. As you can see, here we go. That's the biggest one. So you can adjust it based on how you see. And when you get your blue pick boxes, that allows you to do that. Now, if I click in here once, I get the spreadsheet tool. So I double click. I'm going to right click, and we get some options here. You can insert symbols. There's a lot of things you can do there. I'm going to right click now, and then I get a different one. And so we can go erase, move, all these typical ones. Table styles, I can switch my table style. Size columns equally, go through some different things here. So there's all kinds of options. If I single click, I got insert above, insert below. Let's go insert below. So I get a whole new category. I'm going to delete that row so it goes back. I can insert left. So I get a whole new category. Columns, delete. So we can adjust the way it looks or the way the table looks. Now this is just a quick video tutorial. We're not in any way talking about the details of tables, but this is just a brief overview to give you an idea of how to create a table style and how to deploy a table style and begin putting text inside of your table style. And that's the tutorial.